we should talk about remote dueling. Yesterday, April 30th, Konami released a guide on how to remote duel. This made many people very angry and has been widely regarded as a bad move. Within a matter of hours, all resources related to remote dueling had been updated to ensure people weren't able to do it, and the associated Discord had been shuttered indefinitely. Let me try to explain what happened. This one should be easy to answer. After all, we've got an entire page in front of us with the details. Let's check it out. With lockdowns and social distancing measures in place, it is hard for duelists to regularly meet up for duels, whether it be with friends or at their local store. To assist players in following these guidelines while helping them get in their Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels time, we're introducing a brand new online OTS program, Remote Duel. How does it work? Starting immediately, tournaments can be arranged by OTSs. They will be using the official Yu-Gi-Oh! Remote Duel Discord server as the main tool to run tournaments. These will be sanctioned on KCGN. Prizing support will be awarded, including OTS packs. Setting up for Remote Duel. Players taking part will need a webcam and either a PC or smart device to connect to Discord, in a setup similar to the one shown below. Remember, the camera needs to be flipped upside down so it displays correctly for the opponent. Players will also need a Discord account in order to join servers. And that's it. The important takeaways are this. 1. This is only for the purpose of local dueling. There, as far as the information we've been given so far, are no plans to host a large-scale event using this system. 2. Tournaments abiding this rule are sanctioned and do award prizing. And 3. Playing a game with this mechanism requires a webcam, an internet connection capable of streaming, and access to the associated Discord. More on that in a second. 2 reasons. Firstly, OTSs are the lifeblood of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sure, regionals and nationals are a nice goal to aspire towards, but nothing replaces consistent flesh-and-blood Yu-Gi-Oh! With a low entry fee with friends. Many of these OTSs operate with razor-thin margins in terms of product sales, and without a customer base, a ton of them are at risk of shuttering indefinitely. This is a way for some OTSs to charge entry to tournaments they couldn't otherwise hold. The other reason is a little more cynical. Despite demand for cards being at an all-time low, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has never been stronger. ProPlay Games hosts weekly free tournaments, 8-pod fires on demand, and weekly championships. Luxury Gaming hosts bi-weekly tournaments. And every Yu-Gi-Tuber alive is hosting online events with YCS levels of attendance. The problem is, none of those events move product. This is a mechanism for Konami specifically to sell cardboard to people for hundreds of dollars during a global pandemic in order to satisfy investors. Well, yesterday they opened the Discord. Now listen, I'm not here to blame anyone in particular, but you know your audience. Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are unique insofar as they have to be tightly moderated, or else they'll shitpost accordingly. This is the rules page for the Discord. You may notice there's no threat of banning. This was immediately a problem, and became worse once it was clear there were no mods online. Within minutes, everyone was shitposting in every channel, leading to the greatest addendum I've ever seen. God bless you, Matt. So remote dueling is not easy. If you need a lesson about what can go wrong when playing card games via Skype, ask any Commander player and they'll tell you. To aid in this endeavor, they built a bot, named had a couple of problems. The first is that it didn't work. It was meant to auto-assign you a role based on your location, which it stopped doing almost immediately. It was also responsible for setting up random duels, but it never really had that capacity. Finally, it was meant to help direct you towards OTSs, but, didn't have any registered. Oh, one more thing about the bot? It was public. Shpee invited it to a dummy server. So anyone who's set up a Discord server in the past knows above all else, there are 2 things you have to do. Disable TTS and disable @everyone. This was not done, making the first 2 hours the Discord was live noisy and unusable. There were a few more minor issues. You could reset your own nickname, for example, but they paled in comparison to those ones. All it'd take is using a Discord template from a competent user, or hiring someone with knowledge of how Discord works. They had a Yu-Gi-Tuber role that was invite only, and I wasn't invited! Okay, this one isn't particularly bad, I'm just salty. The issue I think you've probably independently come to is rulings. How am I meant to sphere mode my opponent, for example? What happens with impermanence zones? How do I resolve Spiral Gear Drone? What about Parasite? How do I call a judge after bringing Pole Position Turbo? None of the answers to these were given to the largest judge community on Facebook. The announcement was actually made at a time when the office was closed. Ideally, I think they'd want to sync up. As a result, the Konami judging group is nigh unusable, with dozens of people asking logistical questions about a play format which we've got a paragraph of information about. Finally, after under 12 hours, the Discord server was closed entirely. Well, firstly, have all the individuals on the play committee available before you launch the thing. Secondly, rely on third-party infrastructure as little as possible. Include individuals well-versed in the third-party software you are using in your committees. Ideally, I don't know, people who have used Discord before. Write up a policy document with FAQs and DB links before the thing goes live. Remember, the ultimate goal of this is a pitch to OTSs to personally oversee Skype duels. That's hard to sign on to if they're unsure if the underlying infrastructure works. Thirdly, ensure there's moderators online at the time of launch. Give out extremely heavy bannings for extremely light infractions. If you want to ban cursing, you're going to have to do it with an iron fist. Fourthly, to de-incentivize people from cheating, stacking, etc., just give out prizing based on attendance. Look how the Pokemon trading card game gives out badges. Those are cool, and you don't have to scum wins over a vent server in order to get them. Finally, learn lessons from those who are already in your position. Open up a line of communication with Pro Play Games, Luxury Gaming, and individuals like Simo who are already hosting big tournaments with huge numbers. Find out what made those tournaments run smoothly, or not. Get in contact with EDH Discords and find out what programs they use to stream, then standardize it. Finally, instead of dropping this on OTSs and hoping they decide to come along for the ride, enter into conversations with large ones beforehand to determine how to best serve their regulars. Of course, there exists an alternative to this already. Konami could have made a 7-digit offer to dueling book when they first got a whiff of COVID, slapped some assets on that sucker, and packaged it as the temporary official simulator, complete with a subscription or monetization model. They could start hosting Duel Links and Legacy of the Duelist tournaments as well. Yu-Gi-Oh's major competitor, Magic the Gathering, lucked out in rolling out Arena a couple of months before the pandemic started, and despite the fact that LGSs are all closed and Companion has ruined the game forever, they're still making a hefty chunk of change. If there ever was a time to leverage player dissatisfaction with the demand for an official comprehensive simulator, it's now. So that's that. Thanks so much for watching. I know it isn't my usual type of content, so I'd appreciate your feedback on how I handled this. If you're interested in testing videos, feel free to subscribe, and if you'd like to be part of my community, check me out on Twitch as well. See you next time.